Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to week number 4. We are halfway to the program, and you will all agree that the project has some amazing work in it already, and it's looking and functioning really well. Week 4 is also very special because today is Hajar's birthday, and
wow.
let's give it another round of
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, I forgot, and we were speaking all day. I can't believe I forgot. I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
Okay, so I think we can get started with the demos. And who wants to go first?
I can go first since it's gonna take forever, maybe.
Sure.
Yes, Kenny and I, we struggled a lot to create this button, but we managed to do it in the end with hard work and yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna start sharing my screen.
Andrew is here also. Hi, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, happy birthday, Hajar. Did I miss us singing to you?
Thank you, Andrew. No, I didn't miss you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Andrew. So I was going to start our demo. So Kenny and I, we worked on issue number 7, which was to prompt the user to create, to add an item if the list was empty. So this is basically what we've done. So it says that your shopping list is currently empty, and then it's prompting the user to add an item, and then you do, and you add an item, and that's pretty much it. And then the code, we created a component that used the React router used history, and we added it to the button, and it works, surprisingly. And that's it from us.
So can you add an item and then prove to us that you don't get the little prompt?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, so.
Yeah, sorry, that's perfect. Pretty simple one. Good job.
Yes.
Awesome.
I want to say something. Andrew, I don't know if that happened to you, but I think I never saw a user history like that. I mean, the product owners, they always start throwing things. I think they are never going to allow that to happen in a company. I mean, it's like it's good for learning, but in the real world, they try to add as much as they can.
All right, Hajar and Sarah, you wanna go?
Okay, I think let's start first. Okay, so this week's issue is about adding a new functionality to the app by allowing users to mark items as purchased once they bought them. So working on it, it made us questions a little bit about the structure of the database, because at first we were adding all the items in the list with in an array in the database with the token, and the the shopping list was having this ID that was generating by Firebase. But then we thought that it would be better if we just gave the token we made the token at the ID of the shopping list and add the items as objects into the shopping list itself. So we don't have to nest the objects to array. So here in the app. When the user, okay, so when the user mark this item, it's gonna be disabled and checked for the next 24 hours, and it's gonna be updated here in the database as the date of the last purchase. So if I want to edit this, like, and make it like yesterday, and when I update the item here, it's unchecked again. So because 24 hours have passed since I marked it, and it happens here as well. So I think that's it. Any questions?
Can you so are you also going through the code, or?
I think Sarah is going to go through the code.
So I do have just one quick question. So, you know,
Okay, go.
From the time you tapped banana to the time that you edited it, you know, a few seconds had passed. So what's the sort of, what am I trying to say, like fidelity or something of the time stamp that you're comparing? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, like it's the timestamp we are saving as GMT, but when in the code we are converting it to the user's local ID, local timestamp. So it's gonna be like the app is gonna know it's going to compete. I'm not sure what's the right word here. It's gonna compete it. What's like calculate? Okay,
compute.
Compute.
Yeah.
Compute. It's gonna compute it to the user's timestamp.
Yeah, but I guess, is it comparing at the second level, the minute level, the day level, hour level, or something? You know,
Seconds.
Milliseconds.
Milliseconds.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
milliseconds. We are converting from milliseconds to hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was probably 15 seconds or something. Well, I don't know if it was that long. From the time that you hit the checkbox to the time that you hit save on the time in the console, right? So
yeah,
it seems like you would have had to account for that, but no.
So I added, like, I changed the time to yesterday. So when it's like when I updated it's rendered again.
Oh, time has passed. It's like 15 more seconds. Yeah. Yes. Okay, got it. Yeah, right.
Okay. Okay. So.
Good job.
Okay, so I think Sarah can share now. Sorry. Can we stop?
Okay. All right, so as Hajar showed you, we have changed the database structure a lot. So as a result, we have also changed a lot of the code base we have. So I will start from the list. So here we used to use a Firebase collection to bring the whole collection and get the document we want using the token. But having the token, we can just use the Firestore document and pass the token to the bus to get the document we want directly using the token. And after that, we will render the data. So the thing is that, so it has some downsides, the structure we made. So because we needed to do some processing here to get the data we want. As the data, this object is returned like that. So it has the ID, which is a token, and the item directly in the same level. So it's like the item ID and the item data here, and so on. So first we needed to remove that ID, filter the data we have, and remove that ID from it. So we will only have the items IDs. So we're making a filter here and comparing if it doesn't equal ID. So we'll just have an array. Sorry. So we'll just have an array of items keys. All right. So and after that we're looping through the item keys. We're checking for the names first, and looping through the item keys to view them. And we needed to sort them because as you know, if you have in objects things are not ordered, so you always need to we needed to sort them somehow to make them always ordered in the rendered in the same order. So sometimes when we try to do without sort, we need the items are always the order is sometimes it changes. So we needed to sort it somehow to make the order consistent, right? So we did the sort using the key. And we already know ahead that we're going to sort the items after that. So it will be beneficial after that. It won't be a problem, I guess. And after that, we're mapping through the item and viewing rendering its item. And we're passing for we have created a component for that, and we're passing the list item, the data, and the list ID and the item ID. Okay, so in the list item component, it's just an input, a checkbox, and a div to display the name. And when you check the box here, we're going to update the item using the key, the ID, and we're going to just leave the data as it is, and just change the last purchase date, and we're setting it to the new date.utc to get the current date and converting it to UTC. And we're doing so to handle time zones. So um, okay, so we're saving it in UTC to handle time zones. And we're setting is it checked using so we're getting the difference between the current time and the last purchased date, and converting it to hours and comparing it to 24 hours to set if the item is checked or not, should be checked or not. And this function is here. We set it here in the helper. Okay. So what we are planning to do, actually we're planning to convert the user's time zone to UTC, then compare it, then get the difference between it and the last purchase date. But what we found out is that when we paused the time to new date to create a date, because as you know the date is always stored in the database as string, so we need to cast it to a date object so we can compare. What we found out when we created that object is that the time is already returned in the user's time zone, so it was already ready. It was ready to directly get the difference between the current time and the last purchase. So we didn't need to convert the user's time zone to UTC. Am I clear or?
Yeah. Was there anything else?
Okay, and we're just converting the time to hours and comparing it here to compared to 24 hours to set the checked. sorry. That looked. Okay, so what else? We have also changed the add item. Am I boring you or should I continue?
No, that's great.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in the add item, we changed the logic here a little bit. So we added the last purchase item with a default value null, and in the shopping list, we're getting the data. It's checking if it's empty. No, we are getting the data to checking if there's a name or not, if the name already exists or not, as we already do. And after that, to add an item here, we're using the set function. We're using the set function, and here we're using the UUID library to generate an ID, a unique ID for each item, and setting it as the key of the item. So it's like here in Firestore. Yeah, it's this ID. That's what UUID generates for us.
Mhm.
It's I think it's 64 bits. And we're setting merge to truth, so we don't overwrite any items. So it creates all the new items. And any question here? Or?
Yeah, I think doesn't if you just create a document in like Firestore will create a unique key for it, right? Like
Well,
you might not need to do the UUID yourself, I think.
No. It will create an ID if we're adding a document here, but we're adding data inside the document, so we couldn't find the auto assign. Like if you try to add here, you have an auto ID. You can assign auto ID, but
Okay.
if you try to add a field here, you can't do this. So
Oh, these are added as fields. Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
so
Okay.
we need something to generate an ID here.
Oh, okay. So I guess another option might have been to have a collection inside of that instead of making each of these a field. Does that make sense? Like the
yeah. This one.
Mm-hmm. And then it would give you that functionality of auto creating keys for you. But I mean, this probably works. I just wonder if there are any implications. Like there might be a limit to how many fields you can have on a document or something, but it's probably a high number. It's probably like 20, 48 or some. So it's probably okay. But yeah.
We may consider that. Okay.
Yeah, I had a couple. Is there anything else? I have a couple other questions.
I don't know.
I mean, it looks great. It seems like it's working really well.
Okay.
Can you go back to list.js?
Sure.
So the filter thing, if you go up a little bit, I think is cool. It's a nice way to do that. It is, as the list grows longer, it's going to take longer to complete that operation. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
I think that I'd have to look up to make sure that this is true, but I think you might be able to unset. I think there's literally an unset statement or whatever in JavaScript that you could just, unset this key and then be done with it. And it would always be just a, one cycle kind of thing.
Delete
or maybe delete, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be a more performant way to do that. I mean, this will work too. Again, our lists are not going to be so big that it's going to even be noticeable. But then the only other thing is your sort. So the sort is going to work now because all the keys are unique. Like they're kind of guaranteed to be unique. But if you, like, say we were sorting on the time, and there's a potential, I mean, it's not likely, but there's a potential that you'd have exactly the same time. And in that case, that function's not going to work because you need to be able to, like, the API for that sort method needs to also be able to return a 0 if the two items are the same. So the way you do that is like A is greater than B, question mark, 1, colon, A is less than B, question mark, -1, colon, 0, right? Like you want to make sure all three options are able to be passed back. So again, it's fine for now because those keys are unique, but at the time when we go to sort by dates, we probably want to adjust that a little bit.
Cool. Okay.
I have a question also. So, why have you decided to store the date in a string?
Oh, it's already okay. So when we, where is it? Okay. When we, where is it? Oh yeah. When we convert it to UTC, it's converted to a string, a UTC string. So
Yeah, only it's if you use the integer version, everything then later is going to be easier. Because if you use strings, you will need to do extra processing if you want to, as Andrew said, to sort by date, for example.
yeah.
So a date, the representation of a date is the number of milliseconds from 1970, January the 1st. So if you look at the date methods, you will see that you also have our way to have the integer, the number. So maybe you can consider that in the next also. I have a suggestion also about the the description of the pull request. I have seen in the demo you have shown us how to change the date for being able to test the feature, but maybe it would be nice to have that a little line of explanation for the one who is testing, and for checking this functionality you should go to database and you can change the date in this way. So it's the only thing I was missing in the pull request text or description.
Thanks. Yeah.
Nice job though. This is one of the more complicated stories to take on, and you got it working, and it's all working well. So it's very good job.
Yeah. Also, I have a curiosity. How do you deal as a team the two pairs when you have to merge? How do you deal with that? Do you synchronize for who is going to add the other parts to the code, or you make sure that there are no conflicts, or are you having that conversation, or maybe it's not necessary at all?
The conflicts it isn't a lot. It was just in one file, so we didn't have a lot of conflicts on this one.
It was just here, yeah. Just here. And also for the Firestore collection. Just in this file.
No, I mean, it's a curiosity if you ask the other pair, or you simply look at the code and then the first that comes merge it, or
this time
that way.
we asked. I think we asked Deborah today. Sarah sent me a message. Should we merge now? So yeah, but
Okay.
and sent to Deborah too. So they merged first, and then we merged, and the conflict was just in one file. So we fixed that and merged. It was
Okay.
Okay, should I?
Nice work.
Yeah, really great demos. I loved it. Yeah, the merge conflicts, I remember in our cohort, usually it was like who merged first, and then the second pair would, or the last merge, or yeah, last merge would take care of the conflicts.
Yeah.
And,
Last one should deal with the conflict, right?
yeah. But yeah, really amazing demos. The issue number 8 had quite some work, and I think you did a really great job. And usually, as you move to the next issues, you will like there will be more sorts involved, and you will definitely still need to like adjust some sortations, and it will be great. So now next we have retros, and I will let Phoebe take on from here.
Okay, so I think we're going to spend about 10 minutes, isn't it? Until I think give a chance for other people to fill it in who haven't filled it in advance. So it's past whatever hour you're currently in. So it's 6:30 for me. So we're going to spend 10 minutes just to write down appreciations and shout outs and what went well, and also what kept us from making progress. I've done a typo in that, and what we could do better in the next sprint. So if you would like to do that now, and then we meet up back at 22 whatever the hour, so 40 minutes past. So I'm just going to mute now, and if you want to go ahead.
Thank you.
I'll post the project board in the chat as well. Okay, we've got about a minute before we resume, but I think everyone has filled out all the cards, but I'll just wait until it's just the extra minute. Okay, right. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to share my screen. Just bear with me. Okay, there we are. Okay. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Right, so let's start with appreciations and shout outs. Kenny, can you just please start? Because I think you're first one on the list.
Okay. So basically, it's just the same thing. I just want to appreciate the mentors for dedicating their time and effort into making us into better developers. Also, I like that there are usually links to articles and things we could learn from on the pull requests. I think they are always so helpful. And also a special appreciation to Hajar because she always is so patient in going through the issues with me, despite the fact that we work on different issues some weeks. So after I work on mine, we also do pair programming sessions on ours just so that I can stay updated with what the other team is working with, and she's always so patient. So I just want to appreciate that basically. Yeah. So thank you.
Okay. I think Andrew, you're up next.
Yeah, I just love this group. I always like whenever I go back into my house, my partner Valerie knows that I've been on this call because I have a big grin on my face because it's just you're all so kind to each other and just such a lovely group of people. So and this, you know, the mentors too. I mean, you're all so engaged and interested in how the team is doing and everything. So I just a big thank you to everybody.
Okay, Deborah.
Yes, so a big shout out to Kenny. Since our issue wasn't that big, we had some time to talk about job hunting, our projects. He showed me some of his amazing, very impressive projects that he's building or that he's done building basically. And he encouraged me to write my first blog, and he said you have to do it by the end of this week. And so I've done it. he gave me a deadline, and that was a huge motivation. And then to Phoebe and David, or David, I guess in English, for the office hours and for the helpful tips and all the resources that they shared. For their time. So really, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. David.
Yeah, apart from everything that has been said, I really love the humor in today's USU7 presentation because humor is very important. It shows trust and connection. So I love that a lot.
Okay, let me just, I've just moved that.
Oh, wow.
There we go. My
that.
dodgy mouse skills. Yeah, I didn't know either. So we are Hajar.
Okay. I think I appreciate all the kind comments all the mentors leave us on GitHub or Slack or Twitter. It just means a lot knowing that you mean these words because you believe in us, not just because you are trying to be nice or anything. I appreciate having good teammates and all the time we spend trying to solve the issues. I appreciate all the whole experience of being part of TCL.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you, Hajar. Luca, you're up next.
Okay. I appreciate being part of this amazing team and the Collab Lab in general. I love being here, and also I want to thank you all for being so dedicated, participants and mentors and all of you. Shout out to Hajar also for jumping into Slack, for asking a question about database. That was great. And also thank you for writing blogs about your experiences at the Collab Lab and also overall about the project. So thank you all for that.
You got a second part to that, Luca? Do you want to?
Oh, I think I did all of it.
Okay, you've already done that. All right. Sarah.
Okay, so I want to shout out my peers for the last 2 weeks to Deborah and our birthday girl. So it was very interesting and valuable time to work with you. I learned a lot from you both. And shout out to you, Fabi and David, for the amazing office hours. It was very insightful and inspiring. And I'm starting to blogging. You, Fabi encouraged me to do so. And shout out to David for the Slack threads, including but not to the 40 thread. My favorite, my favorite so far. The threads are very informative and well explained and easy for us to understand. So thank you for that. And again, and also the 40 thread made me really appreciate how cool and nice to work in a diverse team. So shout out to Andrew for taking care of diversity and make it accessible for everyone in the whole world, especially for us, for someone like me, because here in Egypt we don't really have any opportunities or programs like that here. So thank you for that. So I may start my one day. So
I'm really glad you started to blog. That's excellent. Yay. Okay, so it's my turn. So yeah, just to say a big appreciation and shout out to the entire cohort. So it's the end of week 4 and you're still so engaged with the program. It's really nice to sort of see that you haven't lost interest and we're not boring you, and that you're striving to be better programmers and team players. So thank you for your input. It wouldn't work if you weren't kind of engaged with us. And a special shout out to Dave this week because I really like how he sparks off discussions on Slack, coding and non-coding subjects, and he knew exactly what to say about food because I love food, so it was really nice to sort of jump onto that thread. And yeah, and thank you for being such a good lead mentor. So I'm learning a lot from you because this is my first time doing this, so thank you. And we have an invisible card, so I'll just do a quick, I'll just read through it quickly. So shout out to Andrew, always, not just because of all the hard work he puts into this program, but also because he's so supportive and generous with when he tries to help someone. David, for all the helpful threads and articles he shares on Slack, and for all the advice he shared during office hours this week. Luca, for all the links he shares on learning together on Slack and always being so nice. Phoebe, so me, for all tips she shared about how to land your first job, tech job, and for offering to review any of our CVs, and all of the above for being great mentors. Thank you so much. So Kenny, because he works these 24-hour shifts, and somehow he's always motivated to learn to code on his days off. Deborah, for her kindness and being such a good person. Sarah, because it was great working with her this week and discussing the issues with her in Arabic makes me remember that I am a grown-up person, not that 6-year-old child I feel when I speak in English. Your English is very, very good, Hajar. It's excellent. So don't worry about that. You're doing very well. Yeah. But anyway, okay, so moving on to what went well. Off to you, Kenny. So far away.
Okay, so for me, pair programming has been the highlight of TCL for me because it's opened a whole new world for me, not just with this issue, not just with the app we're trying to build, but based on also with regards to my side project. So I pair program a lot these days on a Django project I'm working with Chris and Keegan, and it's always been so amazing. We spend hours debugging, and it's always really fun. Like I had to abruptly end one I was having with Chris when the meeting started, and I was so sad to see him go because I was really loving the session we were having. So pair programming has I'm happy that I got exposed to pair programming during TCL, and that helped me learn how to explain and work through my thought process a lot better. I can explain code line by line, when previously I would just copy and paste and move on. But now I would try to understand each line, because I know that I would have to explain it to someone. So it's been really great. And yeah, the office hour we had with David this week was amazing, because he encouraged us to start applying for jobs. And after that session, I picked up my resume, started working on it, and I applied for a few jobs this week. So yeah, I'm grateful for that. So yeah, thank you.
Deborah.
Yes, so same thing as Kenny just said about the office hours. Last week we had a chat with Phoebe, and I read your blogs. They were great, very inspiring, and I took some notes of things that I would like to do in the future. Well, in the future, near future, like now. And yeah, to David also for sharing all these things. It's just it's an important thing. You are already, I mean, you're working in the field where we want to work, and it's very inspiring. That's one. And went well. I think I'm starting to feel a bit more comfortable with pair programming, and just in like having these meetings and presenting things and talking about our code. Is just this is a great practice, and I feel that maybe I'm not that nervous as I was before. Yeah, I'm saying that now. I don't know for next week. I just had a button, so I will. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Deborah. Andrew. I'm just going to move.
David, the threads in Slack are great. Let's keep doing those. We could even rotate around responsibility for those if we want. But yeah, I love those. It's been really fun. And then just something I think is going really well with the app itself is just that it's so thoughtfully architected. Like you are, I mean, it's simple where it can be simple. Like I actually was just on another team's call earlier, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of code here. Like it's kind of hard to follow because there's so much code, but you're doing, you're all in the same week. You're doing all the same things with a lot less code, and it's very easy to follow through your app what's happening. So that means that like you're taking the time and the care to make sure that it's maintainable going forward, and it's going to be easier to extend and all those kinds of things. So really, I just think this is such a strong group. It's just that's something that's really going really well for you.
Okay, Hajar.
Okay. First, thank you for the shouts outs. I usually don't know how to respond to compliments, so thank you. So I think what went well this week is that we have all worked together well so far, and actually having conflicts doesn't scare us anymore, not even for a little bit. Like I told Sarah that I enjoy having conflicts now today. And today we decided to just choose which issue each pair is going to have early before the call, so we don't have this awkward silent who wants which issue.
That's new. Yeah, that's great.
That's the first time in the history of Collab Lab the team's done that. Nice job.
Yeah. So that's it.
Luca.
Yes, I would like to echo Andrew, because code is really strong and very neat. And this week also we saw some refactoring, which makes it even better. In terms of pull requests, I think they are written really well this week and last week as well. And demos, as always, really amazing, very prepared. You articulate your code really well, even though English is not your native language. So yeah, cheers to that.
Sarah.
So as Deborah and Kenny said, pair programming, we're getting good at this. So we finally know how it works now, so it's good. And also in the technical side, we're learning a lot about React and Firebase and database modeling and all these development stuff. And also for me on the personal side, I'm learning a lot. So, I mean, this whole thing is out of my comfort zone. I mean, things like presenting and communicating and speaking all these crappy human things I don't usually do. But I'm glad that I'm doing them now and getting over this anxiety and seeking discomfort. So it's very cool, yeah, super cool.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so oh, okay, it's me. So I think the demos are definitely getting better. So you kind of get into the swing of things, and you're a bit more comfortable presenting because it's if you've never done it before, it can be quite intimidating. So it is definitely getting better. So well done. Yeah. So and also explaining code, if you're not used to doing it, it is quite difficult. So. And again, that's getting better as well, and especially with your app becoming more complex. So well done. So I just want to say, yeah, and I echo everything that everyone else has said. So yeah, so keep on going. Okay, so the final column, what kept us from making progress, and what could we do better in the next sprint? So I think David, you're up first.
Yeah, I think Slack is a little bit quiet. Okay, I know that a lot of communication happens in the pair programming, but you have to think also in the Slack as a way to share knowledge with the rest of the team. So don't hesitate to ask the mentors or other pair. As Andrew told in the kickoff call, no one is going to. I forgot the word in English.
Which one?
No,
A lot of words in English.
no,
Judge you? Or?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
similar to that. No one is going to to judge your knowledge or whatever. So you can ask. This is a safe space, so you can ask really in Slack.
Okay, Hajar.
It's not easy to add something here. So I really can't think of anything right now or tried before to think of something that went wrong this week, but I couldn't. Like sometimes it's like everything goes so well, it's like you doubt, like your question is like really like you want to ask everyone, is that really what you feel like, or are just being nice, you know? So everyone have been doing great so far, and I just think I just hope that that's what they really feel like, you know, like everything really is being nice and great. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But it's good though. It's good that you know, you, in a way that there's not, you feel like there's nothing else to improve on. So, you know, and I think I think the only thing, I didn't actually write a card, but I think I agree with David that Slack is a little bit quiet. But you know, even if it's just like, hey, how are you? Kind of, something in Slack, you just sort of say something random. It doesn't have to be all code based, you know. So yeah, so I think we're just going to have to push you and nudge you a bit more to be a bit more chatty. But
I do want to say one more thing about that. It's because Hajar, I think you're like, this is a very real thing. Like I actually felt this way when I first got to Zapier. Now that I remember it, like it's been 2 years that I've been at Zapier, but when I first got there, I was like, are these people all like really this nice and like this supportive? And then we got together, you know, we're all remote. And so we got the company together for, one of our sort of big retreats, and we all were in New Orleans, and we all got together, and everybody was just as nice in person. Like it was like, oh, okay. And then I could kind of trust it and then just kind of open up a little bit more. But Adrienne, who's one of our mentors, she's also one of our code of conduct people. She's a very, very experienced engineering leader. She's an engineering director, and she at the end of the cohort that she mentored, one of the things that she talked to them about was just how like you're kind of getting this gift by being part of a very functional team, right? Like that's one of the nice things about Collab Lab is that you like you can go into a lot of workplaces and it's not this nice. There are politics, there are people that are trying to get ahead, or people that are trying to, you know, guard their position because maybe they're insecure or something, and all those kind of dynamics. And here we try to just make it like, this is what a healthy team feels like, so that you at least have that experience. So when you go in, you're interviewing, you can kind of sense like, is this going to be healthy or not? Like you'll be able to tell a little bit better because you've been through it once. So I think like, I'm not surprised that, you know, I think you're not the only person who kind of feels that way about this at first. I think it is real here, and you might not be as fortunate when you get out in the work world, but at least you'll have something to kind of say like, no, I know it can be better. And like, let's try to have a team with higher trust or something, right? So.
Definitely. Yeah, it's not, I know it's just horrible to say, like, it's not like that in the real world, but, you know, it's, if you do find a good company, because when you go for interviews, I find that you're also interviewing the company. So don't forget to ask questions and make sure that the culture is right for you. And I think I remember asking one company, I asked them, are you family friendly? And they said, what's that? And I just said, that pretty much answers my question. So yeah, so it's, you know, it just depends, isn't it? So I would say, don't, you know, feel free to ask questions and make sure it fits with your sort of your own sort of culture, your own standards. So yeah, anyway, because we're short on time, so I'm just going to move on. Kenny, you're next.
All right. So this week, Deborah and I were a bit busy. I was busy with work. He was busy with some personal commitments. So we didn't meet a lot, but thankfully we had a very straightforward issue. So we just met, I think, once or twice. So I wasn't as available as I should have been. And so hopefully next week will be better. So yeah.
Okay. Deborah?
Yeah, same for me. I didn't have much time for the past week and a half or so, so I wasn't that responsive to Slack and some messages. But yeah, other than that, I think I don't have much to add.
I think the at least you got the work done. I mean, I know that you said that, you know, you had limited time, you weren't that available, but at least you got the actual job done. So there are going to be weeks when we're going to be a bit more busy and not as available, but, you know, well done. You know, I know that there is a life outside of Collab Lab. Okay, fine. I think we've got two more. Andrew, what's up next?
Yep. Well, just so you know, Mike, who's on the call, is he did TCL 3 and he's working on the website. He and I are going to meet after this meeting. So it's not some rando joining our meeting. I mean, he is kind of random, but anyway. What's up, Mike? All right, so yeah, I realized when I was kind of giving feedback on the demo that probably would have been better in the PR review. So like some of that stuff, it's like, you know, kind of low level code stuff. So I think like I'll commit to chiming in on your PRs this coming, you know, like from now on, just so that I'm not giving that level of feedback in the demos, because I think the demos really should be about like, does it work, and, you know, make sure everybody understands what's been done, and not a time to kind of say, oh, you should have done something differently, right? So I will get into PRs and actually do reviews.
Okay, sounds good. I think I'll add that to the action items when we're finished. Luca.
Yeah, I wanted to also mention about Slack, but yeah, when Andrew mentioned about Adrian, I was part of that group, and I remember like we had the same situation. It was very hard to come up. A couple of us had hard time to come up with this part of the retrospectives, and yeah, it's always nice to kind of have this space that's like very healthy and very open, and yeah, you can be transparent as you want to be. So yeah, just wanted to mention that.
Okay, right, I think that's it. Thank you very much for your thoughtful thoughts and your comments, and I always look forward to doing this part, so it's really nice to hear all your feedback, and we really appreciate it. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen, and I think, is it over to Andrew?
Hajar, happy birthday again.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Who's saying?
Thank you.
Who's saying?
No, I'm not saying.
I think we should. I think we should sing. Do we sing? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jean. Happy birthday to you. Yay!
And many
Here's my
more.
virtual cake. I baked you a virtual cake right here. So
Thank you, everyone. Really, thank you.
What are you gonna do for your birthday? Or I guess it's late in the day there. So what have you done for your birthday? Anything fun?
No, we still have a few hours, so I'm making a little thing with my family, like in a couple of hours. I think they are preparing for it now, so maybe after the call.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Can I come?
Yeah, everyone can come.
Okay, great. I'll be right there.
Or at least send us pictures. Yeah.
It will take me 10 hours. But...
All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. Great job this week.
Thank you.
Have a great week, everyone. I think I have an office hour this week, and I will post the hours in the Slack right after our meeting.
Okay, perfect. All right, cool.
Okay,
thanks.
Have a great one.
All right, see you later.
Goodbye.
See you. Bye.